Diana Ross, born March 26, 1944, is an American singer and actress. She was the second of 6 children born to Ernestine née Motown, January 27, 1916 to October 9, 1984, and Fred Ross Sr., July 4, 1920 to November 21, 2007. Her mother named her Diane, but the birth certificate was mistakenly filled out with the name Diana. Her family and Detroit friends called her Diane all her life. Ross grew up with 2 sisters, Barbara and Rita, and 3 brothers, Arthur, Fred Jr., and Wilbert, also known as Chico. Ross was raised Baptist. Ross and her family originally resided at 635 Belmont Street, in the North End section of Detroit, near Highland Park, Michigan, where her neighbor was Smokey Robinson. When Ross was 7, her mother contracted tuberculosis, causing her to become seriously ill. Ross's parents sent their children to live with Ernestine's parents, the Reverend, pastor of Bessemer Baptist Church, and Mrs. William Motown in Bessemer, Alabama. After her mother recovered, she and her siblings returned to Detroit. On her 14th birthday, in 1958, her family relocated to the working-class Brewster Douglas housing projects, settling at St. Antoine Street. Ross attended Cass Technical High School, a 4-year college and preparatory magnet school, in downtown Detroit, and, aspiring to become a fashion designer, she took classes in clothing design, millinery, pattern making, and tailoring. In the evenings and on weekends, she also took modeling and cosmetology classes. Ross has written that Robinson loaned her the funds required to attend these, and participated in several of the school's extracurricular activities, including its swim team. In 1960, Hudson's downtown Detroit store hired Ross as its first African-American busgirl. For extra income, she also provided hairdressing services to her neighbors. Ross graduated from Cass Tech in January 1962. Personal life. Relationships and family. Ross has been married twice and has 5 children. Ross became romantically involved with Motown CEO Berry Gordy in 1965. The relationship lasted several years, resulting in the birth of Ross's eldest child, Rhonda Suzanne Silberstein, in August 1971. 2 months into her pregnancy with Rhonda, in January 1971, Ross married music executive Robert Ellis Silberstein, who raised Rhonda as his own daughter, despite knowing her true paternity. Ross told Rhonda that Gordy was her biological father when Rhonda was 13 years old. Beforehand, Rhonda referred to Gordy as Uncle BB. Ross has 2 daughters with Silberstein, Tracy Joyce Silberstein, Tracy Ellis Ross, and Chudney Lane Silberstein, born in 1972 and 1975, respectively. Ross and Silberstein divorced in 1977. In 2023, Smokey Robinson said in an interview that he and Ross had an affair lasting approximately 1 year while Robinson was married to his first wife, Claudette. According to Robinson, Ross ended the affair as Robinson admitted to still being in love with Claudette, a friend of Ross's. When asked about Robinson's story, Ross's representative had no comment. Ross dated Gene Simmons, bassist and co-lead singer for the band Kiss, from 1980 to 1983. They began dating after Cher, who had remained friends with Simmons following their breakup, suggested he ask Ross to help him choose her Christmas present. Simmons, in his autobiography, contends that he was not dating Cher when he met Ross. Ross ended her relationship with Simmons when he gave Ross the erroneous impression that he had resumed his relationship with Cher. Simmons' story differed in 2015 when he revealed that he fell in love with Ross while dating Cher, which ended Ross and Cher's friendship. Ross met her second husband, Norwegian shipping magnate Arne Næss Jr., in 1985, and married him the following year. She became stepmother to his 3 elder children, Katinka, Christopher, and folk singer Leona Næss. They have 2 sons together, Ross Arne, born in 1987, and Evan Olav, born in 1988. Ross and Næss divorced in 2000, after press reports revealed that Næss had fathered a child with another woman in Norway. Ross considers Næss the love of her life. Næss fell to his death in a South African mountain climbing accident in 2004. Ross remains close with her 3 ex-stepchildren. Ross has 7 grandchildren: grandson Rafe Hennig, born in 2009, to her daughter Rhonda, grandsons Leaf, born on June 5, 2016, and Indigo, born 2017, born to her son Ross Nez, granddaughters Callaway Lane, born in 2012, and Everly, born October 2019, born to Ross's daughter Chudney, granddaughter Jagger Snow, born in 2015, and grandson Ziggy, born in 2020, to her son Evan. She was the lead singer of the vocal group The Supremes, who became Motown's most successful act during the 1960s and one of the world's best-selling girl groups of all time. They remain the best-charting female group in history, with a total of 12 #1 pop singles on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, including Where Did Our Love Go, Baby Love, Come See About Me, Stop. In the Name of Love, You Keep Me Hangin' On, and Love Child. Following her departure from the Supremes in 1970, Ross embarked on a successful solo music career with the release of her eponymous debut solo album and its singles, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, her first solo U.S. #1 hit, and Reach Out and Touch Somebody's Hand. Her second solo album, Everything Is Everything, 1970, spawned her first UK #1 single, I'm Still Waiting. Ross continued her successful solo career by mounting elaborate record-setting worldwide concert tours, starring in highly watched primetime TV specials, and releasing hit albums, such as Touch Me in the Morning, 1973, Mahogany, 1975, Diana Ross, 1976, and Diana, 1980, as well as their U.S. #1 pop singles, Touch Me in the Morning, theme from Mahogany, Do You Know Where You're Going To, Love Hangover, and Upside Down, respectively. Endless Love, a 1981 duet with Lionel Richie, made her the female solo act with the most #1 songs in the United States at the time. Her commercial success continued throughout the 1980s and 1990s with global hits, including I'm Coming Out, Why Do Fools Fall in Love, All of You, Chain Reaction, If We Hold On Together, and When You Tell Me That You Love Me. Ross has also achieved mainstream success and recognition as an actress. Her first role was her Golden Globe Award-winning and Academy Award-nominated portrayal of Billie Holiday in the film Lady Sings the Blues, 1972, becoming the first African-American actress to receive an Academy Award nomination for a debut film performance. She also recorded its soundtrack, which became her only solo album to reach #1 on the U.S. Billboard 200 chart. She also starred in 2 other feature films, Mahogany, 1975, and The Wiz, 1978, and later appeared in the television films Out of Darkness, 1994, for which she was nominated for a Golden Globe Award, and Double Platinum, 1999. Ross was named the Female Entertainer of the Century by Billboard in 1976. Since her solo career began in 1970, Ross has released 25 studio albums, numerous singles, and compilations that have sold more than 100 million records worldwide. She is the only woman artist to have had U.S. #1 pop singles on the Billboard Hot 100 as a solo artist, as the other half of a duet, as a member of a trio, and as an ensemble member, a total of 18. In 2021, Billboard ranked her the 30th greatest Hot 100 artist of all time. Her hits as a Supreme and a solo artist combined put Ross among the top 5 artists on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart from 1955 to 2018. She had a top 10 UK hit in every one of the last 5 decades, and sang lead on a top 75 hit single at least once every year from 1964 to 1996 in the UK, a period of 33 consecutive years and a record for any performer. In 1988, Ross was inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of the Supremes, and is one of the rare performers to have 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She was the recipient of a special Tony Award in 1977, the Kennedy Center Honors in 2007, the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 2012 and 2023, becoming the first woman to win the award twice, the latter as a member of the Supremes, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2016. 1988 to 1999, return to Motown. In 1988, Ross chose to not renew her RCA contract and had been in talks with her former mentor Berry Gordy to return to Motown. When she learned of Gordy's plans to sell Motown, Ross tried advising him against the decision, though he ended up selling it to MCA Records in June of that year. Following the sale of the company, Ross was asked to return to the Motown label with the condition that she have shares in the company as a part owner. Ross accepted the offer. That same year, Ross was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of the Supremes alongside her former singing partners Mary Wilson and Florence Ballard. She also recorded the theme song to animated adventure drama film The Land Before Time, 1988. If We Hold On Together became an international hit, reaching #1 in Japan. Ross's next album, 1989's Workin' Overtime, was not a commercial success, despite the title track reaching the top 3 of the Billboard's Hot R&B/Hip Hop Songs chart. The album peaked at number 34 on the Billboard Hot R&B Albums chart and achieved top 25 chart placings in Japan and the UK. Subsequent releases, The Force Behind the Power, 1991, Take Me Higher, 1995, and Every Day is a New Day, 1999, all failed to achieve major success in America, selling around 100,000 copies each. In 1991, Ross became one of the few American artists to have headlined the annual Royal Variety Performance, performing a selection of her UK hits before Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, at the Victoria Palace Theatre, London. This marked her second appearance at the Royal Variety Performance, the first being in 1968 with the Supremes. The Force Behind the Power sparked a comeback when the album went platinum in the UK. Led by the #2 UK hit single When You Tell Me That You Love Me. The album produced 9 singles across international territories, including another top 10 UK hit, One Shining Moment. In 1993, Ross returned to acting with a dramatic role in the television film Out of Darkness. Ross won acclaim for her role in the TV movie and earned her 3rd Golden Globe nomination. In 1994, One Woman, The Ultimate Collection, a career retrospective compilation, became a #1 hit in the UK, selling quadruple platinum. The retrospective was EMI's alternative to Motown's box set Forever Diana, musical memoirs. Ross performed during the opening ceremony of the 1994 FIFA World Cup held in Chicago, and during the pre-match entertainment of the 1995 Rugby League World Cup final at Wembley Stadium. The World Cup ceremony had her take a penalty kick that was staged for her to score, and the goalposts were intended to fall down from the power of her shot. She infamously missed the penalty instead. On January 28, 1996, Ross performed at the Super Bowl XXX halftime show, held at the Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. Earlier that month, Ross's Tokyo concert, Diana Ross, Live in Japan, filmed live at the city's Nippon Budokan Stadium, was released. In May 1996, Ross received the World Music Awards Lifelong Contribution to the Music Industry Award. On November 29, EMI released the compilation album, Voice of Love, featuring the singles In the Ones You Love, You Are Not Alone, and I Hear, The Voice of Love. On February 8, 1997, EMI released the Japanese edition of Ross's album, A Gift of Love, featuring the single, Promise Me You'll Try. In May, she performed with operatic tenors Placido Domingo and Jose Carreras again at the Super Concert of the Century concert, held in Taipei, Taiwan. She later inducted the Jackson 5 into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on May 6. On February 19, 1998, Ross hosted the Motown 40 telecast on ABC. In 1999, Ross was named the most successful female singer in the history of the United Kingdom charts, based upon a tally of her career hits. Madonna would soon succeed Ross as the most successful female artist in the UK. Later that year, Ross presented at the 1999 MTV Video Music Awards in September of the year and shocked the audience by touching rapper Lil' Kim's exposed breast and pasty-covered nipple, amazed at the young rapper's brashness. In 1999, she and Brandy Norwood co-starred in the television movie Double Platinum, which was aired prior to the release of Ross's album Every Day is a New Day. From that album, Ross scored a top 10 hit in the UK in November that year with Not Over You Yet. 2000 to 2003, Supremes Reunion. Main articles, Motown 25, Yesterday, Today, Forever and Return to Love Tour. Ross reunited with Mary Wilson first in 1976 to attend the funeral service of Florence Ballard, who had died in February of that year. In March 1983, Ross agreed to reunite with Wilson and Cindy Birdsong for the television special Motown 25, Yesterday, Today, Forever. The Supremes did not rehearse their performance for that evening, due to time constraints. A scheduled medley of hits was cancelled. Instead of following producer Suzanne de Passe's instructions to recreate their choreography from their final Ed Sullivan Show appearance, Wilson, according to her autobiography, planned with Birdsong to take a step forward every time Ross did the same, then began to sing lead on the group's final #1 hit song, Someday We'll Be Together, on which Wilson did not perform. Later, Wilson introduced Berry Gordy from the stage, unaware that the program's script called for Ross to introduce Gordy, at which point Ross subtly pushed down Wilson's handheld microphone, stating, "It's been taken care of." Ross then reintroduced Gordy. These moments were excised from the final edit of the tape special, but still made their way into the news media. People magazine reported that Ross was elbowing to get Wilson out of the spotlight. In 1999, Ross and megatour promoter SFX Entertainment, which later became Live Nation, began negotiations regarding a Diana Ross tour, which would include a Supreme segment. During negotiations with Ross, the promoters considered the creation of a Supremes tour instead. Ross agreed. As the tour's co-producer, Ross invited all living former Supremes to participate. Neither Jean Terrell nor late 1970s member Susie Green chose to participate. 70s Supremes Linda Lawrence and Scary Payne were then touring as former ladies of the Supremes. Ross contacted Mary Wilson and Cindy Birdsong, who then began negotiations with SFX. Negotiations with Wilson and Birdsong, who allowed Wilson to negotiate on her behalf, failed when Wilson refused SFX's and Ross's offer of $4 million for 30 performances. Following the passage of SFX's final deadline for Wilson to accept their offer, Payne and Lawrence, already negotiating with SFX, signed on to perform with Ross on the tour. Lawrence and Payne would later say that they got along well with Ross. The newly formed group performed together on Today and The Oprah Winfrey Show, as well as VH1's VH1 Divas 2000, a tribute to Diana Ross. The Return to Love tour launched in June 2000 to a capacity audience in Philadelphia. The tour's final performance was at New York City's Madison Square Garden. The tour was cancelled by SFX shortly thereafter due to mediocre ticket sales, despite glowing reviews from media as varied as Billboard magazine, the Detroit Free Press, the Los Angeles Times and the Village Voice newspapers. On December 5, 2000, Ross received a Heroes Award from the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences, NARAS. The Heroes Award is the highest distinction bestowed by the New York chapter. Diana Ross's first public post-RTL appearance was at a fundraiser for former President Bill Clinton. In January 2001, Love and Life, the very best of Diana Ross was released in the United Kingdom, becoming Ross's 17th gold album in that country. In June, Ross presented costume designer Bob Mackie with the Lifetime Achievement Award at the American Fashion Awards. 2 days before the September 11 attacks, Ross performed God Bless America at the U.S. Open before the tournament's women's final, between Venus and Serena Williams. Immediately following the attacks, Ross performed the song again at Shea Stadium before the New York Mets' first game, after driving cross-country to be with her children. In the wake of the attacks, flying in the U.S. was temporarily restricted. Ross teamed with legendary singers Patti LaBelle and Eartha Kitt, among others, for a Nile Rodgers-produced recording of Sister Sledge's classic disco hit, We Are Family, recorded to benefit the families of 9/11 victims. In May 2002, Ross and all 5 of her children appeared on Barbara Walters' Mother's Day television special. Shortly thereafter, Ross admitted herself into the 30-day substance abuse program at the Promises Institute in Malibu, California, after friends and family began to notice a burgeoning alcohol problem. Ross left the program 3 weeks later and began to fulfill previously scheduled concert dates, beginning with a performance before a 60,000-strong crowd at London's Hyde Park for Prince Charles's Prince's Trust charity. U.S. ticket sales for the new tour were brisk, from coast to coast. Venues, such as Long Island's Westbury Music Fair, California's Cerrito Center for the Performing Arts and Humphreys Concerts by the Bay, attempted to add extra shows due to public demand. Sold-out performances in Boston and Ontario, Canada, followed. In August, shortly after the tour began, however, Ross re-entered the Promises Institute's substance abuse rehabilitation program. That December, during her stay at Arizona's Canyon Ranch Health Resort, Ross was pulled over by Tucson police for driving the wrong way on a one-way street. She failed a breathalyzer test and was arrested for a DUI. Ross was later sentenced to 48 hours in jail, which she served near her home in Greenwich, Connecticut. In January 2003, Ross was honored as Humanitarian of the Year by Nile Rodgers' We Are Family Foundation. Shortly thereafter, Ross was feted as an honored guest at the National Association of Black-Owned Broadcasters Awards. Later that year, Ross was the guest performer at that year's Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute's annual gala, in an ensemble custom designed by fashion designer Tom Ford, followed by an appearance as the surprise celebrity model for American couturier Dennis Basso's runway show. In February 2003, the Supremes were honored by the Rhythm and Blues Foundation with its Pioneer Award. 2004 to 2019, later career. Ross is applauded by her fellow Kennedy Center honorees as she is recognized for her career achievements by President George W. Bush in the East Room of the White House Sunday, December 2, 2007, during the Kennedy Center Gala reception. From left to right, singer-songwriter Brian Wilson, filmmaker Martin Scorsese, Ross, comedian, actor and author Steve Martin, and pianist Leon Fleischer. In May 2004, Ross and daughter Tracy Ellis Ross appeared on the cover of Essence magazine, in celebration of its 50th anniversary. On December 8, 2004, Ross was the featured performer for Stevie Wonder's Billboard Music Awards Century Award tribute. On January 14, 2005, Ross performed at the Tsunami Aid, a Concert of Hope TV concert to help raise money for the tsunami victims of the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake. On January 20, 2005, Ross launched her MAC Icon makeup collection as part of the Beauty Corporation's Icon series. In 2005, Ross participated in Rod Stewart's Thanks for the Memory, The Great American Songbook, Volume 4, recording a duet version of the Gershwin standard, I've Got a Crush on You. The song was released as promotion for the album and later reached number 19 on the Billboard Hot Adult Contemporary chart, marking her first Billboard chart entry since 2000. Ross was featured in another hit duet, this time with Westlife, on a cover of Ross's 1991 hit When You Tell Me That You Love Me, repeating the original recording's chart success, garnering a number 2 UK singles chart hit, number 1 in Ireland. Also in 2005, Ross was featured as an honored guest at Oprah Winfrey's Legends Ball Weekend, a 3-day celebration honoring 25 African American women in art, entertainment and civil rights. On May 22, 2006, a year after the celebration, a 1-hour program about the weekend aired on ABC, including celebrity interviews and behind-the-scenes moments. On March 22, 2006, Ross's televised Central Park concerts, entitled For One and For All, were named TV Land Awards Viewers' Choice for Television's Greatest Music Moment. In June 2006, Universal released Ross's shelved 1972 Blue album. It peaked at number 2 on Billboard's Top Jazz Albums chart. Later in 2006, Ross released her first studio album in 7 years with I Love You. It would be released on EMI/Manhattan Records in the United States in January 2007. I Love You peaked at number 32 on Billboard's Hot 200 Albums chart and number 16 on Billboard's Top R&B Albums chart. Ross later ventured on a world tour to promote I Love You. In 2007, Ross was honored with the BET Awards Lifetime Achievement Award and, later, as one of the honorees at the Kennedy Center Honors. Ross in concert in Rotterdam, Netherlands, 2007. On August 28, 2008, Ross performed at the opening of the U.S. Open tennis tournament. As part of a tribute to Billie Jean King, Ross headlined the 2008 Nobel Peace Prize concert in Oslo, Norway. In October 2009, Ross was the featured performer at the annual Symfonica in Rosso concert series, held at the Gelredome Stadium in Arnhem, Netherlands. In 2010, Ross embarked on her first headlining tour in 3 years, titled The More Today Than Yesterday, The Greatest Hits Tour. Dedicated to the memory of her late friend Michael Jackson, the concert tour garnered positive reviews nationwide. In 2011, Ross was inducted into the Michigan Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame. In February 2012, Ross received her first Grammy Award for Lifetime Achievement and announced the nominees for the Album of the Year. In May, a DVD of her Central Park concert performances, For One and For All, was released and featured commentary from Steve Binder, who directed the special. A month later, on December 9, she performed as the marquee and headlining performer at the White House-hosted Christmas in Washington concert, where she performed before former President Barack Obama. The event was later broadcast as an annual special on TNT. In 2013, Ross completed a tour in South America and a tour in the United States. On July 3, 2014, Ross was awarded the Ella Fitzgerald Award for her extraordinary contribution to contemporary jazz vocals at the Montreal International Jazz Festival. On November 20, 2014, Ross presented the Dick Clark Award for Excellence to Taylor Swift at the American Music Awards. In 2015, Ross appeared in the video for the song How to Live Alone performed by her son Evan Ross. On April 1, 2015, Ross began the first of 9 performances as a part of her mini-residency, The Essential Diana Ross, Some Memories Never Fade at the Venetian in Las Vegas, Nevada. On November 27, 2015, Motown/Universal released the album Diana Ross Sings Songs from the Wiz, recorded in 1978. The album features Ross's versions of songs from the film version of the musical The Wiz, in which she starred along with Michael Jackson, Nipsey Russell, Ted Ross, Richard Pryor, and Lena Horne. In February 2016, Ross resumed her In the Name of Love tour, which began in 2013. On November 22, 2016, Ross was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Obama. In December 2016, Billboard magazine named her the 50th most successful dance club artist of all time. On June 30, 2017, Ross headlined the Essence Festival in New Orleans, Louisiana, with her daughter Rhonda Ross Kendrick performing as the opening act. On November 19, 2017, Ross received the American Music Awards Lifetime Achievement Award. Ross performed several of her hits, ending with Ain't No Mountain High Enough, during which she brought all of her grandchildren on stage. Her eldest grandson, 8-year-old Rafe Hennick Emmanuel Kendrick, son of Rhonda Ross Kendrick and husband, Rodney, performed an impromptu dance behind Ross, which gained attention. Ross was then joined on stage by all of her children, their spouses, first ex-husband Robert Ellis, Smokey Robinson, who brought Ross to Motown, and Motown founder, Berry Gordy. In December 2017, Ross appeared on the Home Shopping Network to promote her first fragrance, Diamond Diana. The fragrance sold out within hours. Ross made several hour-long appearances on the network and also released a tie-in CD retrospective collection of her music titled Diamond Diana. Diamond Diana peaked at number 6 on the Billboard R&B Albums chart and number 5 on its top album sales chart. The CD's first single release, Ain't No Mountain High Enough 2017, remixed by Eric Kupper, reached number 1 on the Billboard Dance Club Songs chart. On February 8, 2018, Ross began a new mini-residency at Wynn Las Vegas. On August 4, 2018, Ross scored another number 1 hit on Billboard's Top Dance chart with I'm Coming Out/Upside Down 2018. She performed a song from a to-be-released compilation Christmas album at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade on November 22, 2018. In December 2018, Ross consolidated her status as a dance diva by ranking number 3 in the Billboard Dance Club Songs Artists Year-End chart. On February 10, 2019, the Recording Academy honored Ross at the 61st Annual Grammy Awards. Ross performed The Best Years of My Life and Reach Out and Touch Somebody's Hand. In 2019, her song The Boss was remixed by Eric Kupper as The Boss 2019 and reached number 1 on Billboard's Top Dance chart on April 13. On October 10, 2019, it was announced that Ross would play the Sunday Legends slot on the Pyramid stage at the Glastonbury Festival for the festival's 50th anniversary. However, the festival was postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Then on November 10, 2021, Ross confirmed that she would play the Legends slot at the 2022 festival. 2020 present, Thank You and Glastonbury. In May 2020, Ross released Supertonic Mixes, a collection of 9 of her greatest hits remixed by Eric Kupper and featuring her 4 back-to-back number 1 hits on Billboard Dance Club Songs chart, Ain't No Mountain High Enough 2017, I'm Coming Out/Upside Down 2018, The Boss 2019, and Love Hangover 2020. In July 2020, Supertonic Mixes was also released on CD and crystal clear vinyl LP. Ross released her 25th studio album Thank You in November 2021. It was written and recorded during the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown and contains her first original material since 1999's Every Day is a New Day. Ross performing live at Longleat in Wiltshire, England, 2022. In May 2022, she released the single Turn Up the Sunshine, a collaboration with psychedelic pop band Tame Impala. The track is the lead single from the Jack Antonoff-produced original soundtrack album of the film Minions, The Rise of Gru. With the exception of this track, the album primarily features new spins on classic 1970s hits by artists such as Brittany Howard, St. Vincent, Her, and many others. On June 4, 2022, Ross appeared as the finale act at the Platinum Party at the Palace in celebration of the Platinum Jubilee of Elizabeth II. On June 10, Ross kicked off the UK leg of her Thank You tour at Cardiff Castle. On June 26, Ross appeared live on the Pyramid stage at the Glastonbury Festival. On November 15, 2022, Ross received a 2023 Grammy Award nomination in the Best Traditional Pop Vocal Album category for Thank You. On June 9, 2023, Ross is kicking off the US leg of the Music Legacy Tour, which celebrates her greatest #1 hits. In May 2023, it was announced that Ross will perform at London's Royal Albert Hall on October 14 and 15, 2023. Religious views. Diana Ross was raised in the Baptist Church. According to her 1993 autobiography, Secrets of a Sparrow, her initial performances were in the Bessemer Baptist Church of Bessemer, Alabama, led by her maternal grandfather, Pastor William Motown, who, with his wife, raised her and her siblings there during their mother's bouts with tuberculosis. 2002 arrest. Diana Ross was arrested for DUI on December 30, 2002, in Tucson, Arizona, while undergoing substance abuse treatment at a local rehabilitation facility. She later served a 2-day sentence near her Connecticut estate. Legacy. In 1982, Diana Ross received her first star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Apart from this star, Ross also received a second for her work with the Supremes. Ross has influenced many artists, including Michael Jackson, Beyoncé, Madonna, Jade Thirlwall, Questlove, Ledisi, and the Ting Tings. Several of Ross's songs have been covered and sampled. Ain't No Mountain High Enough has been featured in the film Chicken Little. The song has also been covered live and on albums by Jennifer Lopez and Amy Winehouse. Janet Jackson sampled Love Hangover on her 1997 song My Need, featured on the album The Velvet Rope, having already sampled Love Child and Someday We'll Be Together by Ross and the Supremes on her 1993 tracks You Want This and If, both released as singles from the Janet album. Love Hangover was also sampled in Monica's 1998 hit single The First Night, as well as being sampled by Will Smith, Master P, who also sampled Missing You, Heavy D, and Bone Thugs-n-Harmony. It's Your Move was sampled in 2011 by Vectroid for her song Lisa Frank for 20/Modern Computing, which appeared in her 9th album Floral Shop under her one-time alias Macintosh Plus. It's My House was sampled by Lady Gaga for her song Replay, which appeared on the 2020 album Chromatica. Various works have been inspired by Ross's career and life. The character of Dina Jones in both the play and film versions of Dreamgirls was inspired by Ross. Motown, the musical, is a Broadway musical that launched on April 14, 2013. It is the story of Berry Gordy's creation of Motown Records and his romance with Diana Ross. She was portrayed by Valencia Lakay in 2013 and Lucy St. Louis in 2016. Ross was also portrayed by Candice Marie Woods from 2017 to 2019 and Duriandra Tucker, 2021, in the stage play Ain't Too Proud. There have been many other portrayals of Ross in films, television, and other media, including Holly Robinson Peete in The Jacksons, An American Dream, 1992, and Michelle Williams of Destiny's Child on American Soul, 2019. As a member of the Supremes, her songs Stop, In the Name of Love, and You Can't Hurry Love are among the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's 500 songs that shaped rock and roll. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1988, received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1994, and entered into the Vocal Group Hall of Fame in 1998. In 2004, Rolling Stone placed the group at number 96 on their list of the 100 greatest artists of all time. As lead singer of the Supremes and as a solo artist, Ross has earned 18 #1 singles, 12 as lead singer of the Supremes and 6 as a solo artist. Ross is the only female artist to have #1 singles as a solo artist, as the other half of a duet, Lionel Richie, as a member of a trio, the Supremes, and, as an ensemble member, We Are the World by USA for Africa. Ross was featured on the Notorious B.I.G.'s 1997 #1 hit Emo Money Emo Problems, since her voice from her 1980 hit I'm Coming Out was sampled for the song. Billboard magazine named Ross the Female Entertainer of the Century in 1976. Ross is also one of the few recording artists to have 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, one as a solo artist and the other as a member of the Supremes. After her 1983 concert in Central Park, Diana Ross Playground was named in her honor with a groundbreaking opening ceremony in 1986. Berry Gordy asked Ross to introduce the Jackson 5 to the public. Eventually, public misunderstandings resulted in Ross erroneously being given credit for the discovery of the Jackson 5. Gordy decided that the misunderstanding was good for business, so her discovery became a part of Motown's marketing and promotions plan for the Jackson 5. Consequently, their debut album was titled Diana Ross Presents the Jackson 5. Motown producer Bobby Taylor claims to have discovered the Jacksons, though singer Gladys Knight also makes the claim. Even so, Ross embraced the role and became a good friend of Michael Jackson, serving as a mother figure to him. On January 24, 1985, Kaufman Astoria Studios held a dedication ceremony in Astoria, Queens to honor Ross by naming Studio 4 at the studios after her. The Diana Ross Building served as an acknowledgement of Ross's contribution in bringing the studio back to the forefront after being faced with possible demolition through her involvement in The Wiz. In 2006, Ross was one of 25 African-American women saluted at Oprah Winfrey's Legends Ball, a 3-day celebration honoring their contributions to art, entertainment, and civil rights. Diana Ross was named, by whom? One of the 5 mighty pop divas of the 60s along with Dusty Springfield, Aretha Franklin, Martha Reeves, and Dionne Warwick. In 2023, Rolling Stone ranked Ross at number 87 on its list of the 200 greatest singers of all time. Awards and nominations. Main article, list of awards and nominations received by Diana Ross. On November 16, 2016, Ross was announced as one of the 21 recipients of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor. In 2023, Supreme's co-founders Ross and the late Mary Wilson and Florence Ballard received the Grammy's Lifetime Achievement Award, with Ross becoming the first woman to win the award twice. She earned a solo honor in 2012.